Suppose a kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved towards Tartar Town Volume 6 review. After having had almost a year's break, summons a kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved towards Tartar Town finally returns to the English market with the release of Volume 6. Having left Lloyd at the end of Volume 5, he was working as a bellboy in the luxury hotel Ryokaku, but upon realizing he is working hard to prove himself a capable employee, his senior co-worker Kikyo has been investigating strange cases of people falling into comas, which may be related to a guest staying at the hotel. It turns out that the person responsible for all this trouble is the demon lord Erking, who Lloyd mistakes for an ordinary monster, while Kikyo and his friends are flabbergasted by Lloyd's inability to sense the danger they're facing. They soon realize that they must band together to take down Erking before they can destroy the hotel and go on to cause chaos and destruction across the land. Facing off against Erkling also works and Sally's paper since she's hoping to prove to her father that Lloyd could be a worthwhile partner for her, instead of a noble who was trying to set her up within Volume 5. Aldrum, she's hardly time for that amid his life and death battle. Having had such a long break between releases, though somewhat taking away from the momentum here in what proves to be the end of the hotel arc. It's less story, driven and more centered around the fight against the Demon Lord, so although there are plenty of impressive action scenes, there's not a great deal happening in the plot. I definitely recommend reading Volume 5 and 6 back to back if you're in a position to. There's some hints scattered drawing that Erkling's revival is related to someone from Lloyd's hometown to Konlan, but that's really something that the author is building up to, so with that we'll see the payoff for a while yet. The final chapter of the book shows Lloyd returning to the academy, which is due to investigate a local dungeon that may be behind a string of disappearances. This may or may not tie into the larger narrative with Konlan. We have to wait and see. As much fun as it was reading these chapters, I will say one problem that's creeping out for me now is how unrealistic Lloyd's character is. At the beginning of the series, he believed himself to be incredibly weak, not realizing that Konlan was legendary for being home to powerful individuals. In these 6 books, so far we've seen him face off with more and more mighty enemies, but still, Lloyd believes they were simply bugs or, in the case of Erkling, the weakest of all monsters. Back when the story first started, Lloyd's feelings made sense because of his sheltered upbringing, but that's certainly not the case now if he attending the academy and made so many friends. I appreciate it's also a big part of the comedy in the series. But again, we have so many characters and situations now where it no longer needs to be the focus. It's in one element of Last Dungeon Boonies that will put readers off if it continues the way it has been. Especially it seems as if the author was moving away from that joke in the previous volume. Suppose the kid for the last Dungeon Boonies moved towards Tartar Town Volume 6 comes to the west, thanks to Square Enix, but it continues to be translated by Andrew Cunningham. The translation reads well as always with no problems to note. Volume 7 is the series currently scheduled for release later this month, so readers won't have to so long to wait to jump into a new arc. Overall, Suppose the kid for the last Dungeon Boonies moved towards Tartar Town shows its love of impressive battles as Lloyd faces off against the Demon Lord, and the current arc comes to a close. If you're still enjoying the manga at this point, there's not a lot to complain about with this installment. A free preview can be read on Square Enix Express here. 8 out of 10.